without an attorney. Now, I must admit, the very first motion for recusal I did was so confusing. It was so overwhelming. It took me almost 3 months to get one together because every motion that I looked at was just kind of a generalization, and it had information a little here and a little there, and it didn't really lay out the passageway to show you how to actually file a recusal. So the key to a recusal is that the judge has done something. So just like attorneys have a code of ethics, judge has a code of ethics under the rules of canon, canon. And what that rules of canon does, it 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 has the specific guidelines of how a judge is supposed to act when they're sitting on that bench, how they're supposed to treat you, how they're not supposed to treat you, the whole works. So now, if there ever comes a situation where the judge is treating you unfairly and he's biased against you, or he can't be fair and impartial to you, you can actually request that that judge be recused from your case. Now, I want to be totally honest. Just saying that you didn't like how the judge ruled against you, that's no reason to remove a judge from your case. But I had a situation where a judge had done things where the judge's name was Judge Cedric Wooten, and he had done something to me where he had locked me up for almost 3 hours under the guise of contempt. And then after he kept me locked up for 3 hours, he let me out, and then he didn't charge me. So I wind up suing that judge for false imprisonment, and then I later filed a motion to recuse because every time I would go in front of him, he would be grimacing and making faces like he was going. He do all. You're not, as a judge, you're not never supposed to let me see you do anything like that. And he was doing everything on that. He was threatening me in court, and I was like, he was like an abusive boyfriend. He was just crazy with it. And so I filed a motion for recusal. And so I filed a motion for recusal in May, and then it sat there. It sat dormant for May, June, July, and so July they wanted to transfer another case and consolidate the two cases together. And that Judge Wooten, did that. And when he did that, he violated one of the rules of canons where you can't rule. It might be the federal rules of civil procedure, or it could be the Tennessee rules of civil procedure, where a judge can't rule on anything until he addresses the motion for recusal. So he went ahead and accepted the transfer. And so even when I brought it to his attention, you haven't addressed my motion for recusal. He played the fool. He played possum. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about a motion for recusal. So I then filed what they call a writ of mandamus. It's WRITMANDAMUS. I filed a writ of mandamus. That's under an extraordinary circumstance. That means that he wasn't going to do his job, so I had to go to a higher court, the appellate court in Jackson, and I submitted that motion there, and then they turn around and say, hey, you need to get off the case now. And so it took about 2 weeks, but then when they sent the order down to him, he removed himself from the case immediately, just like that. So a motion recusal. So I forgot to tell you one thing. When you do a motion for recusal, you need to also do an affidavit saying, listing out the facts, and you need to document that, and then you need to get it notarized, and then you need to attach it with your recusal motion. And so that's how you file a motion for recusal without an attorney. And so it's not hard. It's I got lucky enough to it took me months to figure it out, but once I've got it figured out, I've learned from my mistakes. And so the good thing about this is it won't be as hard for you because I'm telling you what I did so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I made. Thanks for stopping by. And what you didn't know yesterday, you know today. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. I like